So if you're like me, I'm assuming you spent most of this movie looking for shots of Megan Fox's toe thumbs.
What?
Just toe thumbs. You didn't know about this?
No, I have not heard of this at all.
There's a name for it, man. I forget what it is. Just Google Megan Fox toe thumbs and you will find out.
Am I going to get some like pictures that I shouldn't be looking at? Like, is this an NSFW kind of thing? Or
No, man, not to spoil my ratings or anything, but examining every scene she was in to see how they would shoot around it was honestly the most enjoyable part of this movie for me. I was so curious. I'm like, are we going to see the toe thumbs or not? And they kind of hit them.
And they did. They shot around it, eh?
In many places, there's like one scene where like it's like under her hair when she's on the phone. It's like not the way anyone holds a phone, but like it was there. But other times it was out in like kind of full view.
Now you have me thinking about moments in the movie where I would see her hands, and the one that comes to mind is when she's holding tongs to like grab a Decepticon.
Yep.
Were they prominent in
thumbs
that?
In.
Oh,
no,
okay.
Thumbs
All right.
in.
All right.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Watch it again. You'll be.
I'm not doing that.
Welcome to Bad Movies and Beer. I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And this is our season 4 season finale. We have gone crazy big on this one. We're talking about Transformers: Revenge of the Fallen.
I'm excited. Shia LaBeouf, Michael Bay.
It's a real dream team for you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm a little disappointed that this is a sequel. I mean, instead of it being the first in the series.
Well, the first got better reviews than this.
It is better than this for sure.
I mean, it would have to be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I mean, so much of our podcast is sequels because they often don't live up to the caliber of the first.
That's fair. Yeah.
We're going to talk about that a lot in this one. But I was kind of excited going in. I actually think this is the second time I've seen it.
Oh, I knew you'd seen it before.
Yeah, I went to theater and I saw this, and I mean,
well, your kids have seen it too. Probably you probably watched it with your children.
Well, I tried
or not.
to actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we tried to watch it because my son is into Transformers, but this is a PG-13 movie, and they leaned a lot harder into the Megan Fox sexiness than I was expecting or remembered.
Not just the Megan Fox sexiness. We'll talk about this later, but there is a ton of sexuality in this. I do not totally understand it.
Yeah, I had to turn it off about 20 minutes in because he got to college and it was not appropriate for my children to see what was going on there.
Absolutely. So we are going to go through all of this. And as always, we have paired the movie up with a beer. But before we get to that, are you ever going to tell everyone your bad rating for Dune or what? It's been about a month.
Oh man,
just breeze past it. It's actually my fault because like you were in the middle of just like ranting about the badness of David Lynch's Dune. And I guess you've just been talking for so long that I was like, but how enjoyable did you find it? And you never actually gave a number for how bad. So do you want to reveal how bad on a scale of 1 to 10 you thought David Lynch's Dune was? Or do you want to make it a cliffhanger over the summer?
No, I think I should probably let the people know. Drum roll, please.
Wait, do we have a thing for that? No, we don't. We just have... That's not the same thing.
I mean, it's appropriate because it's a month late.
Yeah.
My bad rating for Dune was a 9.
All right, that's fair. What did I give it? Did I also give it a 9? 8 maybe? I don't even remember.
Yeah, it was close. I'm not sure. It's been a while.
It has been a while. I was also very drunk in that episode, which is probably why I didn't realize that you hadn't said it. Had a few Bud Lights in me, and yeah. Hey, speaking of, this week's beer is going to be fucking the exact opposite of the Bud Light we had last time, right? What do we got today?
Yeah, I'm not so sure that you're going to enjoy this one quite as much.
I think it's a very safe bet based on every description that we've read about it, yes.
So the beer we got this time is the Octopus Prime Double IPA, which pretty perfect here. It's by the Kings County Brewers Collective. So a group of brewers that work and create cool beers together.
Brooklyn, New York, the can says.
Yeah. So I'm just going to read a description of this beer from online because it's going to sort of make the sales pitch for me why this is a connection to our movie. It says, overflowing with Michael Bay levels of explosive tropical flavors.
All right, yeah.
Alfonso mango, lemon meringue, and ripe passion fruit. Smooth mouthfeel, soft finish. Decepticons beware.
Wow, there you go. That's just a world-class combination here.
Yeah, I mean, it's perfect for the movie. I am looking forward to that mouthfeel and like Citra hot bomb in our mouths. That's going to be amazing.
Every fucking time. You know what? I will say, they made it sound like it's not going to hurt me too much, but I know in my heart that's not true.
Yeah, it's going to be good. You're going to enjoy it. Just
no,
like
you know I'm not going
movie.
to.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Let's get into it.
All right. So we get a bunch of machine sounds over top of the DreamWorks and Paramount logos before we fade in on a little place called
Earth, birthplace of the human race. A species much like our own, capable of great compassion and great violence.
Oh yeah, and it's 17,000 BC. Now, if you've seen the first Transformers movie, then you know this is obviously Optimus Prime talking, while wild tribes of hunters stalk a tiger. But then we're shown what he calls a deeper revelation, that Transformers and humans have met before. And right on cue, a bunch of no-good Decepticons slaughter the human hunters before we get the movie's title.
Yeah, they're really trying to build a pretty epic backstory here. Not a news story, and actually kind of one that seems to be popping up a lot on the podcast. Aliens coming to Earth and leaving sort of advanced technology or using our planet for resources. Kind of reminds me of the Predator versus Alien kind of thing we got going on here. But yeah, we are right into it. I do like the Optimus Prime narrator voice. I know we don't enjoy narration to lead movies most of the time, but I was a huge Transformers kid growing up. Like, I'm
not
excited
surprised
for
me even
this
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, so much so that I even named my Transformer as my nickname.
What?
Because it's more than meets the eye.
Oh, Jesus Christ. I regret following up on that.
Yeah, so hearing Optimus's voice, you know, like, it really brought me into the story. At this point, Shia LaBeouf, Michael Bay, we've got Optimus's voice leading us in. I'm excited for what's to come.
Well, I mean, you've got to assume it's all voice, right? There's not a human actor. This is a CG robot. So you're going to hire a voice actor with a good voice. All the major, like Megatron and that leader of the Fallen, they all had, like, noteworthy voices.
Yeah, absolutely. They do a good job with picking their voice actors.
I agree. From there, we fast forward to Shanghai, China. Today is the date, and the big news is a major toxic spill in a chemical plant. The Pentagon is closely tracking this, and they're dispatching a special team of humans and Autobots to suss out what's going on. And Optimus Prime tells us this team's code name, Nest. I have mixed feelings about all this because I haven't seen the first movie, so in a way this is helpful for me, but it's never a good sign when you need this many voiceovers to explain what's going on with the plot of the movie. Dune, anyone?
So in the first movie, they kind of discover and build that relationship, right? The Autobots show up, and this one, they start us off where they're working together to keep the Decepticons hidden or out of touch so people don't know that they're here. And it doesn't seem like it's going so well based on the news reports and what's we're about to see on screen.
No, to the surprise of no one, the Decepticons are indeed behind this. And their appearance launches us into what will be the first of many CGI robot fight scenes. There's transforming and explosions and buildings being smashed. And although it takes a whole fleet of Autobots, they manage to take these punk-ass Decepticons down, but not before causing millions of dollars in property damage.
Yeah, this reminds me of like a Stallone-esque like solve problems by blowing everything up kind of scene. So it's definitely kind of rough here. I actually find it a little hard to follow. There's so much action and so much CG in this one that I'm having a tough time figuring out the good guys and the bad guys at the start here. But they make it pretty clear soon who is on which side.
They do, and once the dust settles and the Decepticon almost works in the title, they tease me there, we cut to the upper middle class home of the Witwicky family, whose son Sam, played by your boy Shia LaBeouf, is heading off to college. We get a bunch of very stereotypical parent comedy here. His mom cannot stop crying when she sees Sam's baby shoes. Meanwhile, his dad can't get him out of the house fast enough to turn his room into a home theater, and apparently also nail Sam's mom. That's the vibe I got anyway after Mr. Witwicky slaps his wife on the ass, a move which Shia LaBeouf likens to something out of a rap video. Because nothing says rap video like middle-aged white people.
I think he was referring to the ass slapping, but you are right. This is a struggle. This whole section where they're having the bad comedy of him heading off is really, really poor. Parents kind of play this role in the first one too, but I am hating it here. This movie, although my excitement is high heading in, starts to plummet downhill for me, and really it is with this scene that I start to things start to unravel. I'm like, this is awful. They're trying to inject too much comedy and it's not working, and I'm worried about where we're going here.
Oh God, it's every scene with the parents. Every scene with the parents is brutal because they are like the main focal point of comedy, and they're awful.
It's hard. I'm not sure whether they're trying to make it bad, like to build some humility for them or something as we move through the movie, but I feel like they're trying to get the audience to laugh at this stuff, and it's really falling flat for me. Most of the comedy in this movie is a giant
atrocious
turd.
Yeah, it's real bad. Well, Sam's dad isn't just here to rush and creep him out. He also offers him some advice. Ditch the girlfriend, Sam. College changes things. Give each other room to grow. Shia LaBeouf bristles at this, which leads to the following exchange.
You're no different than any other couple your age.
So we discovered an alien race together.
Huh? How long are you going to be riding that scooter?
Which, I should point out, is an expression that no one has ever said when referring to someone telling the same story over and over again. In fact, it's an expression that no one would ever say in this context unless you immediately wanted to smash cut to the aforementioned girlfriend sitting on a scooter. Do you remember what they talked about in this scene? Because I couldn't hear over the sound of these screenwriters patting themselves in the back. It's not a real expression. It's not a real expression.
No, it's absolute bullshit. Didn't make sense. It's also interesting that he's trying to get his son, Sam, to dump his girlfriend who is like 10 times hotter than him.
Well, if you like toe thumbs.
True, I guess. I don't know. I have never seen or looked for the toe thumbs, so it didn't make an impact. But I would have to say that at this point in their careers or where they are portrayed in this film, she is like a couple levels above Shia LaBeouf here.
Yeah, he may be outkicking his coverage, as they say. Somewhere in the course of packing up his clothes from the first movie, Shia LaBeouf finds a shard of alien metal in one of his shirts. And when that shard falls to the ground, it burns a hole and, like, summons a bunch of tiny Decepticons. Were those the appliances from their kitchen?
Yes.
Okay, I definitely missed some stuff here, but I didn't miss nearly as much as those little Decepticons. They are literally spraying the house with tiny machine guns and somehow can't hit Shia LaBeouf even once. What the fuck was this?
Yeah, this is going to be a major problem in this like whole movie.
Plot armor?
Yeah, there's so much plot armor on him that of course nothing's going to happen. It is here where that little shard turns them all alive, and I think they're trying to have fun with the CG, but it doesn't really work for me. Again, these machines are kind of silly. Like they're trying to add comedy through the little machines, and I'm not loving it. They're destroying everything, and then of course his car, Bumblebee, comes to life to try to deal with them and blows a giant hole in the house. It just gets worse.
Yeah, man.
Oh, man.
Legendary Transformer Bumblebee, who has been living in Sam's dad's garage the whole time, saves him, and Shia LaBeouf says a tearful goodbye to his first car and sets him free Harry and the Henderson style. Now, to be fair, the tears are mostly on Bumblebee's side, but then Sam steps out of the garage and says a much less tearful but much more cringy goodbye for now to Megan Fox. They're in love, but neither of them wants to say it first, and they go back and forth with what I'm sure was supposed to be fun, flirty dialogue, but just seems forced and weird. And also, did she put like on a wedding dress as a joke? What is happening here?
Yeah, it was strange how she changed into the all-white dress and was holding flowers like it was their wedding. I didn't like it either.
What was it?
She's just trying to get the love word out of him here, trying to get him to say he loves her. And again, I think this is the screenwriters patting themselves on the back because they're setting this up for a big moment at the end.
But it didn't make sense. Like, in the context of that scene, this scene right now, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah, it was confusing. I don't know why they were doing it that way. I thought both the conversation with Bumblebee and with her was terrible. Like, none of the parental and relationship feelings here are coming across in any effective way.
No, I agree. And if you thought that last scene was hard to follow, just wait until you see the military briefing we get next. Optimus Prime speaks off camera to a high-ranking official about the recent series of Decepticon incursions, which, he notes, have all taken place on different continents, and the cryptic warning from the scene earlier in this movie. Unfortunately, no one knows what the Fallen Will Rise Again means, because the only history of the Transformer people was lost along with something called the Allspark. But what they do know, and what a newly appointed government liaison named Galloway is kind enough to recap for us, is that the Decepticons' leader Megatron has been sunk to the bottom of the ocean where he's being guarded by a bunch of U.S. Navy vessels, and the government is holding the last remaining piece of the Allspark in a secure location. Galloway even goes so far as to name the exact locations, which probably wasn't a great idea. You know, considering the fact that this briefing is basically a video chat, and their enemy is an advanced species of sentient technology who can almost certainly hack into it and hear everything. Whoops!
Yeah, pretty brutal here, right? I'm not quite sure. I think it might be Starscream is the name of the Decepticon who's attached himself to the satellite and is hearing all this shit.
You have a better idea than me, man.
But it's brutal. This fucking ass clown just like gives away the location of all of the main sort of targets of the Decepticons. Yeah, just lays it all out here. And they want you to hate this character. Like they want to make him a punching bag, but it's just too obvious. They're really setting this up to be predictable and paint by numbers, right? It is one of those screenplays where it's more about the action they build, the CG and the explosions and those feelings rather
less
than
about character and dialogue and, you know. realistic relationships. That
I thought I was gonna be so into this, and I'm at this point where I'm like upset writing notes. Like there are angry emojis all over my book as I'm going through here.
Yeah, man. So the Decepticons know where to find literally everything that'll let them take over the Earth or whatever. But we can't get to that until we see how Shia LaBeouf's college move-in day goes. And long story short, not well. His roommate is a dick who's trying to make a website that's essentially TMZ, only the T stands for Transformers. And his mom, well...
What is that in your hand, by the way?
Oh, I got this at the bake sale for the environment that those boys are having. You know, you don't often see white boys with the dreadlocks.
Mom.
Yeah, it's 100% pure Hawaiian green for the environment.
How many of these have you
Drop it.
And the comedy just gets worse from there. I don't know who this actress is, but I honestly hope she never worked again after this. Actually, no, you know what? That's not fair. It's Michael Bay I should be mad at.
Yeah, when she eats the brownies and then goes around showing all the women on campus her son's little booties and says she should meet him, I'm like, holy fuck. And then
She loses her mind.
She steals frisbees off of some people playing frisbee, and like, I don't know, it's really, really rough. It's about this time when I had to shut it off with the kids. I was like, we're done, kids. They're like, why is she acting so weird? I'm like,
That was it?
no, it was before that, but
I was going to say.
we were close to this.
Well, it
I was
only
like,
gets
this is
worse,
so
man. Like
bad.
in every way that you would be concerned about with your kids, for sure. But with that out of the way, we do get to see some Decepticons steal the last piece of the Allspark. It takes them about as long as it did for me to say this sentence. And then we're back to college, where Shia LaBeouf heads to a party with his roommates, despite the fact that he's supposed to have a video chat date with Megan Fox. And I don't mean later that night. We see her try and start the call within 5 minutes of him getting there. Why is he at this party? And how is he going to avoid nailing that hot girl from his dorm who walks up to him at the bar and basically unzips him?
Oh, man. He's going to turn her down or try to turn her down, but...
She's persistent. She followed him from the dorm, maybe. Like, she see each other earlier, and she is, like, right away with just the me eyes.
And this should have been a red alert for him because she, again, is way above him in sort of...
I don't know. Do you think so?
I think so.
I think they're comparable.
Really?
She's no Megan Fox.
So, I don't know. It's one of those where you're like, why is this girl so hard, so interested, so fast?
Well, that's the part that's concerning. It's not her looks. It's how into this she is.
And that is my concern too. And it's just, he knows that he's a part of a government conspiracy, and there are likely people who want to get that information.
I didn't even think of that. That's a great point. Yeah.
Like, he's aware of this, right? And so
you should be on high alert with anybody that's
that is offering him their body that quickly. Yeah, there's a problem here. Good point on the date. I don't know why he agrees to go. His roommate doesn't take no very well, but he should stand up to him and be like, fuck off, man. I got to talk to Megan.
I'm dating Megan Fox.
Yeah.
Like,
leave me alone.
Get out of here, dude. Yeah.
But he doesn't. And of course, he does not make it for his video chat because while they're at the party, Bumblebee shows up.
Yeah, he does. In fact, he drives onto the lawn just in the nick of time to save Shia LaBeouf from that hot lady who was trying to blow him. And all I could think of was, thank God for the Transformers. Human technology isn't advanced enough to block someone to this degree.
It is pretty impressive, yet he does allow the lady to get inside him. Bumblebee, that is. Not Shia. Well, that's later. But so Shia LaBeouf hops in the driver's seat, and the lady gets into the passenger seat, and they got to get out of there before they get beat up by some seniors because they've driven on their lawn. They tear off, and the girl tells them all about how she is into Camaros. Of course, Bumblebee's a Camaro, and Bumblebee's on high alert here. He keeps playing radio songs and getting upset at this woman.
He sprays her with oil at one point or something too.
Yeah, I was kind of
it's
like...
not the facial she was expecting to get that.
No, I was like, is this card? I wasn't sure. It made me also wonder if he can like play all these songs and do all these things. Does he set himself to vibrate when Megan Fox is in the car? I was...
Oh no!
Is that how Shia LaBeouf got to keep her all these years? Is what I was wondering. Sam
Bumblebee just steers himself towards gravel roads.
I think he can just shake the chair. I don't even think
God.
he needs gravel roads. This is Sam's trick. He just gets girls in the passenger seat, and usually Bumblebee gives him a good time.
He was alarmed when that girl got in. Maybe that's the reason why. No, I'm just kidding. Bumblebee is actually there to take Shia LaBeouf to see Optimus Prime. The blocking was incidental. Optimus Prime needs Sam to convince the government that the trust between humans and Autobots is essential for the survival of both species. Shia LaBeouf correctly points out that he's just some college kid, and it's insane that he would be the one called on to do this. But Optimus Prime is like, it has to be you. And when that happened, I got nervous, thinking this was going to be one of those kind of like somehow Palpatine return situations where they just blow past it without explaining. But I should have known the Michael Bay Brain Trust wouldn't leave anything up to the imagination. And sure enough, they tell us why it has to be him pretty much right away.
Yeah, I'm struggling here. I know the first movie, like I understand what happened, and I still don't understand why. Oh, I do understand because, like you said, they explain it. It's just so odd that Shia LaBeouf, this weird, random, goofy kid, gets swung into all of this shit just because he bought a used car. Like literally, that's how all of this.
Is
happened.
that how it started?
That's how he buys Bumblebee as a used car.
How does he afford Bumblebee?
Well, the original Bumblebee wasn't a new one.
Oh,
he was
okay.
like an old kind of beat up Camaro that he had saved money for, and then it transitions in the movie to the new Camaro. Like they upgrade the Transformers to get a little more energy, and he gets to be a disgusting new Camaro.
Yeah.
But like, it's just so weird to me that this goofy kid who buys this old beat up Camaro now is the key to saving the fucking world.
That's weird for sure that he is the kind of the key to all of this, but we find out why in that scene. It's because the Allspark is basically living in his body. Turns out the magic was inside him the whole time. We also see the Decepticons retrieve and reactivate Megatron in our next scene, which allows him and us to meet the movie's other big bad. And wouldn't you know it, is that Decepticon who wiped out all those hunters in 17,000 BC. What are the chances?
His name is the Fallen, which is why
That's just his name? I thought they were called the Fallen.
No, he is the Fallen.
He is the Fallen.
He was one of the Prime, like the main
Yeah.
like creators of the planet of the Transformers and Decepticons, but gets kicked out by all of his brothers because, as we're going to find out later, he wanted to destroy Earth.
Yeah, definitely. But before we get to that, it's time for another college break here as we get a scene with Shia LaBeouf in astronomy class. Sexy, sexy astronomy class. I never took astronomy in college, but I cannot believe it would have been this full of innuendo. The professor is Dwight from The Office. He is basically eye-f***ing the shit out of all his hot female students, and they are totally into it. You're more familiar with the franchise than I am, so tell me, why is everyone in Sam's life so horny?
I don't know. They're definitely playing up college stereotypes here, right? The idea of like professors wanting to get with the young freshmen, and
But
those
why are
girls
they
wanting
into
them.
it?
I don't know. I'm not sure. I did like the cameo of Dwight Schrute, though. He was pretty funny in this role. He's playing it up really hard, and I'm enjoying it. Sam, though, decides that he's going to read an entire textbook and then teach the class about physics here.
Yeah, he basically ends up having the world's nerdiest seizure.
And it is awful. I am struggling with Shia's performance while he's writing that shit on the board.
Yeah, this twitchy motor mouth thing he has where he tries to prove that Einstein was wrong about how energy moves by writing a bunch of transformer symbols on the chalkboard, but no one takes him seriously because he can't stop stuttering and flopping around. So he calls the one person he knows he can trust, Megan Fox. She's mad about him standing her up on their very first webcam, Dave. There's no time for that. She needs to protect that shard of the cube from more tiny Decepticons. This one was surprisingly foul-mouthed.
Why did it call her hot?
Because she is. I don't know.
I was really confused. I was like, why is this Decepticon like commenting on a human's sexual attractiveness? It seemed really strange to me. They're not into humans, are they?
I don't know. Some people robots. I don't know. What they do.
So you think robots are into fucking humans?
You seen those fucking like sex dolls that are all like whatever?
What are you talking about? Have you been going down rabbit holes on the internet again?
Been going down to your basement. No, why can't it be the other way? I don't know. It's weird, but he was swearing the whole time and just like obnoxious.
It's
and
just
yes,
more bad
very-
robot comedy, right? Like
Yep.
the comedy in this is shitty. It is so bad.
That's putting it mildly.
And this is an extension of that. This is where I asked you earlier if you could see her thumbs, because this is where she kind of captures it and tortures it, and that's going to become important later. But while this is happening, we sort of cut back to Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, because after securing that shard and trapping the tiny Decepticon in the lockbox, Megan Fox is going to jump on a plane to come see him, but she isn't the only hot lady looking for him, as that girl from the party is back. And even though Sam's giving off some major Russell Crowe and A Beautiful Mind vibes, you got a fucking string wall of like conspiracy shit, she once again tries to f*** him. Luckily, there's a perfectly logical reason for this girl's wildly unbelievable persistence. She's really a Decepticon. Unfortunately, though, Shia LaBeouf doesn't suss that out until after Megan Fox walks in on her kissing him.
Michaela.
Is that your girlfriend? Ex.
Michaela.
And at this point, you and I are probably both thinking the same thing. Let her go and f*** the hot Decepticon, right? No?
No, not after seeing that tail and tongue come out. I wasn't, okay.
Or what did they do? No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
This is Megan Fox walks away, although the sound of the fucking kind of brings her back because it's
Not the the commotion is she's attacking him.
I know, but she didn't know that. If you saw them making out and then you heard a bunch of loud noises, wouldn't you see it, like be jealous that it was extreme sex?
You think that's why?
She went back because she was like, she's not going to be better than me.
That's a very real. There's probably a porn version of this where that's exactly what happens. She does go back to save Sam, or at least give him enough time to get out of the room, which leads us into a chase scene that takes us through the university library and out into the parking lot, where Megan Fox hotwires a minivan in front of Shia LaBeouf's douchey roommate, which they then use to smash up that hot Decepticon. So they're in the clear, right?
Oh, you would think that they are in the clear, but all of a sudden a military helicopter swoops over and captures their car.
It's fucking Megatron, isn't it?
Yeah.
Megatron grabs them. And after ripping them out of the van several hundred feet above the ground, he has a doctor robot inspect Sam for traces of the Allspark in what was a truly disturbing scene. That examination did not look like it would be fun, and we quickly learned that whatever they need to do to get the Allspark back is almost certainly going to kill Shia LaBeouf, or at least irreparably damage his brain. So he is in desperate need of rescue. And you know what that means. Autobots assemble. Or wait, is that the expression? I don't remember.
Sounds right. But yeah, of course, they're going to wait till the absolute last moment, right? Right as they're about to cut into Sam Witwicky's head, the Autobots bust through the doors and ceiling and the windows, and we get this battle between the two. They are trying to save Sam, right? Sam hops in Optimus Prime, and then Bumblebee gets the other two to safety. Unfortunately, Optimus and Sam kind of head off on their own, almost into the forest, and get chased by Megatron and some of the other Decepticons.
They do, and this is so interesting to me because what stood out to me in this scene is when Megatron scores a crushing blow to Optimus Prime, Shia LaBeouf yells out, "Optimus!" which for some reason seemed really weird to me, but you just also referred to him as Optimus. I don't know why, but I feel like everyone calls him Optimus Prime at all times. You might just prove me wrong. It'd be like if Captain America got hit really hard and someone yelled out, "Captain!"
I could see someone yelling out Cap. Just straight Cap. Like Captain America was short form to Cap. I could see that as like a Cap. No.
I thought it was weird, but you know what's even weirder? A minute later, Megatron kills Optimus Prime, and Sam doesn't yell at anything. That's the time to yell, dude.
Oh, he's just too heartbroken here. Just him and me at the same time. This is a tough one. This is actually like, I'm hating this movie for the most part. Like, it is terrible.
Pretty standard reaction, I feel, based on like ratings and reviews and stuff it's gotten online.
But this moment actually pulled me in just a little bit. This battle, and then like Optimus is kicking ass for a while here, and then all of a sudden it gets turned on him. And when he gets that sort of arm through his chest and his shard, and the light goes out in him, there's a little bit of sadness in me as a kid who grew up loving the fucking Autobots, man.
That's fine, I guess. But we know he's not going to be dead for long. Come on, whatever. Shia LaBeouf manages to get away after all this. It basically takes all the Autobots attacking him to buy him some time. And so it seems the Decepticons have been thwarted, at least temporarily. But you know who doesn't like being thwarted? The Decepticons. They decide to announce their presence to the world by blowing a bunch of shit up and sinking an aircraft carrier. Oh, and also prank calling Sam's mom.
This is weird. They just call her flip phone and she's like, "Stop moaning into my phone." This is funny because they go and they take over all the TVs and announce themselves, and they just put Sam's face on there, and they're like, "Give us this kid or we fuck everyone up." I didn't understand why there wasn't more people just trying to give him up. I feel like they should have shown scenes of like mass public trying to be like,
people
give
like
him up,
running to
give him up,
that
right?
Like
I feel like that would be the reality if it was one human.
Too many extras. They didn't want to sink the budget.
No, okay, fair.
They have unlimited budget for this.
It was all
shit.
CGs and explosions, so we couldn't do that.
That's right.
So we're going through a global crisis here, and
sort of,
but it's intertwined with bad parent humor, and I'm hating that.
I'm telling you, every scene with the parents, but whatever. People should be looking for Shia LaBeouf for sure and wanting to hand him over, and that seems to be maybe the general human sentiment. But the Autobots obviously are not down with this, and neither are the human members of that hybrid military task force, NETS. But you know who is 100% ready to hand Sam over? That government liaison, Galloway. This seems like a dick move, but in his defense, he is a complete stock character.
Oh my God.
Just paper thin.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
There is nothing to him. He is just someone who they are trying to set up for a sight gag. Like they are literally making this guy someone who you're waiting to either die or have something stupid happen to, because that's all that he's there for.
He ends up in an upturned porta potty or something.
Yeah, exactly.
He's gonna
This is the lawyer from Jurassic Park, right?
That's
like
right.
this is what
Yep.
I'm feeling for this. Yeah.
For sure. Speaking of paper thin, Shia LaBeouf somehow puts together the fact that the weird symbols he's been seeing as part of his various freakouts must be a map to the location of the Allspark, or whatever the hell it is they're looking for. But unfortunately for him, the two Autobots that are with him don't do much reading, their words, so they need to find someone who can interpret the symbols, and Sam's douchey roommate knows just the man for the job. Robo Warrior, a.k.a. John Turturro, a.k.a. some guy from the first movie, I guess. I don't know.
He does play a pretty big role in the first movie. He's actually a government employee, like a secret organization.
I
that
put together
studies
from
them.
context clues later that he had been employed by the government.
And that gets ruined when Witwicky kind of like saves the day. So
and
he
he
was
works at
kind
a
of
deli now.
which is kind of funny. Turturro's going to turn it a little bit for me here. His character in the first one's really annoying, and as we get to the deli, he's kind of annoying and hilarious too, because he's too busy like with his smoked meat to have any kind of dealings. But as soon as he sees Shia LaBeouf, his tune changes pretty quickly.
Well, yeah, Shia LaBeouf's harrowing story is enough to get him to bury their old grudge and take Sam, the roommate, and Megan Fox to his hidden base of operations. And just in case you were worried this movie might actually be taking a serious turn,
What you're about to see is top secret. Do not tell my mother.
Yeah.
I mean, come on.
It's lame. It's really, really bad. Yeah, it's really, really bad.
It is. But whatever. Not only is Robo Warrior here already aware of the symbols, he's got photos of them popping up all over the globe at various times throughout history. So he's pretty much sussed out the fact that Transformers not only came to Earth from a different planet, but also stayed existing alongside human civilizations by hiding their true nature and appearance. And yes, he actually uses the phrase robots in disguise.
I clapped a little, or like I was kind of, I was like, yes, they fit it in there.
They sure did. Now, this information is all well and good, but Robo Warrior can't actually read the symbols either. Only a certain type of Transformer can do that. And to find them, you'd pretty much need a Decepticon that you could talk to / threaten for information. But where are they going to find one of those? In New York City.
It sounds impossible.
At this hour. That's an old airplane
Well, she
joke.
did bring the Decepticon on the airplane, so I think that's an appropriate joke right there. I think that works. I'm not sure how she got it by the security, but they did not check.
That's a great point also. They don't fucking check.
They don't check
care.
shit. So
No.
she brings a Decepticon with her to New York City, and they have it so that they can interrogate it.
And they do. And she gets it to talk, and it reveals that there's a very old group of Autobots who are still on the planet, and that they should, in fact, be able to understand the symbols. Apparently, the closest one is in Washington, D.C., and all I could think of here was, please, God, let it be in the Oval Office so we can get a CG robot version of National Treasure 2. Wouldn't that be great?
I was actually feeling, while watching this, that it was starting to turn into National Treasure.
A little bit.
Yeah. Particularly when we get to Egypt, but even right now, I'm like, we're heading to the Smithsonian. This is a throwback for me to that. Was that our finale of
No, we just did it like mid-season. We did it.
all
Yeah,
right.
National Treasure 2. That was actually like a surprisingly fun episode.
Yeah, it was good. And we're starting to get into those vibes for me. And it's interesting. I think that that's something that is starting to transform my enjoyment of this movie. And we'll talk about that later.
All right, how about this fucking plan they've got for getting in? Does that transform your enjoyment of this movie?
Tase some guards and...
Well, after first having Sam's roommate pretend that there's no toilet paper, which is exactly the kind of distraction they need for him and John Turturro to, yes, tase some cards.
This kind of reminded me of the move from MacGruber, though, where he...
Is that because Turturro's wearing a jockstrap for no apparent reason? What the fuck was that? This is awful.
Yeah,
But-
there's some bad attempts here. This is, again, a throw everything against the wall move. Not really having a quality plan for comic interjection.
No, man, it's fucking really bad, but this plan does work. And soon they're face to face with Jetfire, the very old Transformer they were looking for, who, and I'm not sure why they didn't consider this possibility ahead of time, is a Decepticon. Or at least he was a Decepticon, but he switched sides, which I didn't know was possible. You know who else didn't know was possible? That tiny Decepticon, who immediately switches sides and pledges his allegiance to Megan Fox. And by pledges his allegiance, I mean starts f***ing her leg.
Yeah, it's like a dog. He's like a chihuahua. And you know what? It's interesting because Sam gets a little bit jealous here. He's not okay with that robot f***ing his woman.
True,
but
yeah.
he was about to put himself inside of a robot earlier, so I don't know if he can complain.
Fucking hypocrite is what you're saying.
Yeah, he can't complain. That robot had its tongue in his mouth.
No good.
No.
No good, Shia LaBeouf.
Yeah, come on.
So Jetfire, kind of a joke character.
Absolutely. He's like a grandpa transformer. He even has a beard. He comes off with this weird old beard when he transforms to show that he's old. He's walking with a fucking cane.
Yeah, he keeps bumping into stuff and falling over and improperly deploying his weapons.
Is that a penis reference?
Maybe. But he can read those symbols. And he can also apparently teleport everyone to Egypt. Because, of course, the Transformers are the aliens who came to Earth and built the pyramids. I may be projecting that last part. What they did build was a giant machine that can destroy suns or worlds or whatever, and it's buried here, along with the one-of-a-kind key that can activate it, which was taken and hidden by the Primes to stop it from falling into the hands of the Fallen. Shia LaBeouf asked if the massive amount of energy produced by this machine could possibly be used to resurrect a dead Transformer, and you'll never believe it, but the answer is yes.
Optimus has a chance, is what you're saying.
Optimus has a 100% chance. They've essentially just told us exactly what's going to happen.
Oh my gosh, they absolutely did. This is again them laying it all out for us. This is not a movie where they want you to like be tricked or confused or not know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
They're going to make you sad and then make you as happy as possible again at the end. And you know what? I'm here for it. I'm excited for that part of it because you don't watch the Transformers to see the Decepticons win.
I like how you said as happy as possible. You won't be happy at the end of this movie.
No.
But you'll be happy as you possibly could.
There'll be some possible joy. Yeah. All of this is so convenient that he can, one, teleport them there and that he tells them the answer to all of their problems. So now all they have to do is figure out where the spot is. You said that you're projecting that they built the pyramids, but in fact, we're going to find out they absolutely did because the machine that destroys suns is in the goddamn pyramid.
I thought it was buried.
It's in the pyramid.
I don't fucking know. Whatever. Either way, they're off to find this key now or the doorway that'll lead to this key or fucking, I don't even understand. But they've got company. It's the Egyptian police who somehow knew that they were there. I don't know how. So we get a brief car chase, followed by them having to convince a guard to let them through a roadblock despite Shia LaBeouf being the most wanted man on Earth. Now, this is obviously going to take a lot of skill and deception. And nope, wait. John Turturro says he's from New York and the guard just lets them through. Go Yankees.
You're right. They escape both the police and these military checkpoints, and they're on their way to find the right place, but they have to stop overnight, and we're going to get another wonderfully written and awesomely romantic scene between Megan Fox and Shia LaBeouf.
We are, but you skipped something there first, which is that while they are on their way, so are the loyal soldiers in the Nest unit, thanks to a phone call they made earlier. And so is Optimus Prime's body, chassis, what do you call it?
Yeah, I was going to say corpse, but you're right. I don't know when it's a machine.
I don't know either.
Yeah.
But the Decepticons have eyes and ears everywhere, so they know roughly where they are and are no doubt headed there as well. But the exact location of this key remains a mystery because nobody can figure out what that old Transformer meant when he said that the three kings would point them towards it. But luckily, as you mentioned, Shia LaBeouf is cuddling with Megan Fox that night and he notices the 3 stars of Orion's belt, which causes him to instantly put it together. And I, for one, am not surprised that he was gazing up at that night sky because, you know, anything to avoid looking at those toe thumbs, am I right? Last place you want to look is down. I have a weird fixation on this, maybe. I don't know.
I think maybe a little bit. We're getting another conversation about who's going to say the L word. She flew 3,000 miles to save his life and is now with him on a fucking journey to, I don't know, bring back to life his
Autobot father figure.
Yeah.
No, I know.
Despite his dad still being alive and caring and wanting to bang his mom still,
Optimus
right?
Prime.
Well, no, who is?
That's you know who's not trying to bang his mom? Optimus Prime. As far as we know.
Yeah, we don't know that
So,
yet.
after a quick scene where the Nest guys get rid of that wet blanket Galloway by pretending they need to bail out of the plane carrying Optimus Prime, our main characters arrive at a building straight out of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. You know those ones that are like carved into the side of a canyon? You know what I mean, right?
Absolutely. I think that's a good reference. This is where I wrote National Treasure in my notes, which is pretty funny, right? That's what I was feeling when we're at this point.
Two better movies, if we're being honest.
Yeah.
Now, sadly, it seems to be a dead end, but those two sassy Autobots start fighting over something and smash a part of wall that just happens to be exactly where all those primes are buried. So they found the key. But when Shia LaBeouf picks it up, it literally turns to dust. So I guess this really was the dead end, huh?
Yeah.
No, of course not. It's all going to work out.
Well, you skipped over something here that I think we maybe should mention, or I think you're avoiding talking about.
What's that?
The robots, the twins.
Oh, the ones I referred to as sassy?
Yeah. You're being...
What's your problem with the robots, Noel?
They are clearly pretty poor portrayals of African-American characters in robot form here.
They're stereotypical.
Yes, these are some bad stereotype robots, and it's a problem. Like, I don't know if you're going to bring this up later in your bad rating or enjoyment, but these two created some controversy at the time of the movie.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There's some rough portrayal here, and the fact that they start a fight, and that is the secret to finding the hidden key here.
So they're heroes. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, it's like Smeagol. It's like Lord of the Rings here, right? That's
racist.
Again, Smeagol's? I don't know. Maybe. So luckily they find the Allspark key. It disintegrates, and all hope is lost, except he takes off his sock and shoves all the dust from the key in it. I'm like, what the fuck, man?
But you have to know this is all going to work out.
I didn't know that. I'm watching here. I'm a little heartbroken. How are we bringing Optimus back?
Well, did you not listen to the impassioned speech that Sam fires off? If anybody wasn't convinced, he says it all right here.
Look around you. We didn't just go through everything we went through for no reason at all to just have it end like this. There is a reason that we are here. The voices and the symbols in my head led us here for a purpose.
How do you know it's gonna work?
Because I believe it.
I called it back at the beginning, man. The magic was in him the whole time.
It's true. The magic is in him.
Yeah, man.
That's why Optimus showed up and pulled him out of college. This is why he's here to save the world. This is why Megan Fox is willing to ride his dong, because that magic is in him.
This is why he's got the Matrix. He's the one.
He kind of is the Neo of this movie, for
sure. Why do they call this the Matrix?
I don't know.
Wouldn't anyone just think of those movies? I immediately thought of those movies.
Yeah, that's fair.
And the fact that much like Keanu Reeves, he is this like prophetic figure, apparently. But regardless, the Nest guys have landed and Optimus Prime's body is ready, but they're a few miles away from Sam and everybody else. They're going to have to get there, which the Decepticons, of course, are not going to allow. So John Turturro, Robot Warrior, bravely decides to draw their fire, only nothing really happens. He drives away with the roommate, and I don't think the Decepticons even follow them, let alone fire. However, the two of them will get front row seats to a massive CGI Transformer fight, which is also what's about to happen at the site of Optimus Prime's body. So the only question now is how long it's going to take before Shia LaBeouf sprinkles his magic dust on Optimus Prime's corpse and brings it back to life. The answer is too long. Just get to it already. God damn.
You know what? I understand that perspective, but this is actually the part of the movie that starts pulling me in. I hated all of the character intro stuff, all of the terrible comedy, everything that had to do with him at college. But now that we're in the section where he needs to get the shit to his body and we're like climbing the hill towards the climax, I am actually starting to get pulled into this. Like, is he going to save Optimus? I know he is.
We all know he is.
We all know he is, but I like the continuous, like, we're getting there, problem, we're getting there, problem, we're getting there, problem. This is paint by numbers storytelling, and it's going well.
It's working.
For me.
You're painting by numbers,
and it's working for me. I'm actually enjoying the climax. We're getting a lot of transformations. The one that happens in front of Turturro, I actually think is kind of cool, where we have all of that construction equipment turn into this massive monster.
Oh, with like the swirling round mouth or
when
whatever.
It starts sucking everyone up, I think it's less cool. It's like a shitty Twister moment here. I think that sucks ass. But
another better movie than this.
Yeah, definitely. But I don't love the two dumbass robots taking this massive thing down, though. We're about to get there in a second.
We are, but before then, it's time for another chase scene. This one on foot as Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox frantically try to make it to where the soldiers are. But the Decepticons have a few more tricks up their sleeve, like the fact that they've taken Sam's parents hostage. They're only in danger for about 30 seconds before Bumblebee shows up and rescues them, but this is all a setup to the big emotional moment when Sam wants his dad to get to safety, but the dad doesn't want to leave him behind, but Sam is like, you have to let me go, and the dad is all, you come back to me. And sure, I was bawling my eyes out, but it doesn't make it a good scene, Noel. It doesn't make it a good scene at all.
It worked. It was.
You were crying too, right?
I was a little. I was in the feels. I don't understand, and I want to throw something that we haven't talked about yet. But the soundtrack plays a pretty prominent role in mood in this movie.
Oh, the soundtrack for this movie blows ass.
Well, I like some of the early 2000s, like
I know you do.
Metal pop band pulls in, so I don't hate it. But this is orchestral at this point, and it's pulling you into that moment. But I fucking hate the parents. And while this moment is happening, I'm like, why is it making me feel things? And
that's why.
Yeah, I was like, I was struggling so hard with it. I was like, I shouldn't be feeling this way. But I think it improved my enjoyment because it was pulling me in here.
Just made me mad at myself.
I did feel a little ashamed by the feelings too. It's one of those that was strange.
There you go. Yeah. Now, speaking of heartfelt goodbyes, Robo Warrior John Turturro says goodbye to Sam's roommate and sets off to stop the Decepticons by calling in their position and letting the U.S. Navy know exactly what kind of weapon they'll need to bring. He said this was his moment, and damn, maybe it actually is.
Yeah, that's not wrong. Things are starting to happen the way they thought it would.
Yeah, man, for sure. So we are about 15 minutes into this giant CG robot battle, and Shia LaBeouf finally makes it to Optimus Prime's body. Kind of. After successfully running from 3 different explosions, he's within striking distance when Megatron appears and blasts him one more time, sending his body cartwheeling through the air. He hits the deck hard and is motionless. His parents, who are still very much in the line of fire for some reason, are screaming and crying. Bumblebee is in a stunned silence, and Megan Fox is absolutely frantic as she recklessly runs to his lifeless body to try and bring him back with the power of love. But as we learned from that Autobot prophecy earlier, there's only one thing that can bring someone back from the dead, and it's that magical Transformer dust. Only, as the Force ghosts of those old primes tell Sam, the dust is just a metaphor. The magic, and I'm seriously not making this up, was literally inside him this whole time.
Return now to Optimus. Merge the Matrix with his spark. It is, and always has been, your destiny.
This is some grade A horse shit.
So, yeah, I struggled here. I actually enjoyed the kind of like rush to get to the body, the battle and the like kind of military like bombs coming in. This felt like a little bit of a raw American military scene too here. We're getting a lot of the bombers coming in, the tanks stopping them. We're getting this big like kind of like go drone up moment, and it is kind of working. It's funny how on screen some of that stuff can happen.
Like the magic of movies.
It works, and I'm getting pulled into it.
The magic of Michael Bay.
Even him getting blown up and flying and needing CPR and defibrillators and everyone trying to save him is interesting. When we cut to him being dead and talking to all of the primes, I fucking like spit my drink out. It's bullshit. This is so strange that they're having this like the in-between place conversation, and they're going to send him back and he's going to resurrect Optimus, and then everything is going to go right again. And I'm just
you were surprised by this? We're going to fucking kill him?
I knew he was coming back to life. I just wish it wasn't this like you go to purgatory, talk to the supernatural people, and then come back and save the world. That to me, and maybe that's my belief system doesn't work well with that. But I struggled. My
problem was it's been done a million fucking times.
There's that too, yeah.
Which, either way, with Optimus Prime back in the land of the living, it's time for him to kick Megatron's ass and end this battle once and for all, or not. That fallen Decepticon shows up and puts him right back down. That was a surprise. Of course, we all know this is only temporary, and right on cue, that wise old Transformer sacrifices himself, giving Optimus Prime his spark, and with it the power to defeat both Megatron and the leader of the Fallen, who he straight up murders. It's a robocide.
He fucks them up too.
He kills the dude.
Yeah, he absolutely kills the Fallen, which was once a Prime, right? The only one who can kill him is another Prime, and he just absolutely decimates him. He leaves Megatron pretty fucked up too. I think he's torn off one of his arms or wings.
Jaw's
his jaw's gone too. But Starscream wisely tells him that sometimes the cowardly way out is the only way to win in the long term.
Live to fight another day and all that, yeah. And as the sun sets in the battlefield, Shia LaBeouf and Megan Fox are truly in love. Sam's parents are reunited with their son, and John Turturro and the roommate are safe and sound. Optimus Prime and Shia LaBeouf exchange thank yous before Optimus sends us into the credits with a message about races working together and remembering the past and a song by Linkin Park. And you know what they say? 2 out of 3 ain't bad.
Which one of those two are you not down with?
Linkin Park.
Oh, I'm loving it. I'm
of
fucking
course you
loving
are.
the Linkin Park. When that comes on, I'm just fucking 3 out of 3. I have an erection
It sucks
at
so
this
hard.
point in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man.
The ending here with Optimus giving those wide words, the kiss into the sunset.
You just called him. I called him fucking Optimus a second ago. Maybe I was wrong with that point earlier.
Yeah,
Just called him Optimus.
I'm loving it as we end our movie here with the Linkin Park soundtrack. And you know what? It's interesting. We're going to talk about our ratings in a second, but I went from
6 to midnight emotionally.
Yeah, very much throughout this movie.
It's awful. It's an awful movie. And all the fucking nostalgia that you have for Transformers and all the attempts to pull on our fucking heartstrings with orchestral music and a reliable, stable father figure. Don't fall for this shit. Come on, man. I don't want to. I also want to know what your ratings are, but we have reached that time in the episode.
You don't even want to know. You're not willing to give it up here.
No, we're going to hear it. Can you fucking actually give it this time? Let's not pull a Dune, shall we?
I don't promise anything. Just like our dads.
Oh, God. And for the final time this season, we're going to give our ratings the way we always do this. We rate the movie on a scale of 1 to 10 2 times. 1 to 10 for how bad it is, 1 to 10 for how enjoyable. And the goal is to find a movie that is 10 out of 10 on both scales, or what we call the Crit 20. And listen, I want to be harsh about this movie because the characters suck, the dialogue is terrible, and the whole thing is basically a CGI off session for Michael Bay. But I realized like 30 seconds into the first fight scene that this thing isn't intended for me. It's a kid's movie.
Kind of?
It 100% is. Put the PG-13 rating aside, the bright colors, the cartoony voices, the trucks. This is a movie for babies. Dumb babies. So...
Oh my God.
It is. And I can't believe I'm saying this. I can't give it a 10 for how bad it is because I feel like a lot of kids must have enjoyed it. Let's face it. You don't get to Transformers 9 or whatever the fuck number sequel they're on by not attracting an audience. So they must be doing something right. But other than that, I don't really have a whole lot to say. Michael Bay is a hack. These screenwriters should be shot. And I honestly think this expedited Shia LaBeouf's fall from grace, or at least fall from leading actor status. I know he's your boy, and I like him too, but this just isn't it. I only have this as a 9 for how bad this is. What do you think?
Oh, boy. It's not a good movie.
No.
It is not at all a good movie. The build sucks ass. The awkward college scenes and the relationships with Megan Fox are terrible. The crazy sci-fi plot that is still somehow paint by numbers, right, is bullshit. The racist bots are a problem, right?
Yeah, I knew you had a problem with that.
The comedy is straight up terrible. The pot brownie, the roommate, all of the comedic robots, the parents, it is shit. CG is overdone for sure.
Oh, fuck. It's all CG, man. I hate that.
I like some of the transformations they do with CG. They are effective and they do make me feel nostalgic, but some of the fight scenes and the overall like transformations as the like giant explosions and battles are going down just aren't working. So shockingly, we actually have this as the same rating here. I had this as a 9 bad.
But it's happened a lot this season, actually. But how enjoyable did you find it on a scale of 1 to 10?
It started real low. Like at first, the first half hour to an hour of this, I was in like cringe central. I was really, really struggling, like so bad that I was considering giving it my lowest rating of all time. Like I was at 1-2 bad rating.
Yeah.
For the first section of this, but something happened. There was a transformation in my rating throughout this movie, and something about the rising action and tension in this movie with like 45 minutes left in it started to change for me the way I felt about it. Maybe it was the dad moment. Maybe it was a little bit before that, but it really pulled me in. I struggled so hard. I had to watch this in 2 sections. The last 45 minutes of this movie had me locked in. I did not stop and I couldn't stop watching it. I did like the musical soundtrack. I know you're shitting on Linkin Park and some of the other like pop punk sections that were through this.
Hoobastank? Who else was in there?
Yeah, I love Hoobastank.
They weren't in there, were they?
I hope so. I wish they were. But despite all of the favorable things I've just said about the last 45 minutes, they couldn't erase my feelings for the first like hour and a half of this movie, which is the trouble, right? So putting that all together, this thing rounded itself out as a 6 enjoyable.
It's way too high. That is way too high, man. What have you done? Oh my Christ. All right. Well, I can't get on board with that at all. As I said in my bad rating, a lot of kids must have enjoyed this movie, and I do believe that, but I'm not a kid. You can't just computer animate some fast-moving, big, bright, shiny stuff and expect me to my fucking pants like that roommate did when Megan Fox hotwired that van. Ideally, there would be a coherent story, interesting characters, and dialogue that didn't make me want to bludgeon myself with a hammer, but this movie delivered none of those things. Instead, we got nonstop CGI, which listeners know I'm not a fan of, and writing that was so bad that I would absolutely believe there wasn't actually a script. They just drew the whole thing as storyboards. For real.
Yeah, they just
I can see that,
yeah.
Fucking Michael Bay, also. Like, I have no idea why this guy was allowed to direct so many things, other than the fact that his movies typically made money. But I was thinking about that. He also had the advantage of making movies in a time where if you had a $100 million budget, you were pretty much guaranteed to make money, and he always had a $100 million budget. So I guess what I'm saying is, I feel like anyone who was given the same opportunity could have done the same thing he did, or probably better, and he sucks and I hate him. I'm serious. It's all explosions with this guy, and not the believable kind where someone shoots a car.
Oh my God, fuck you. It's okay. It's okay. No, hold on.
I had to get one last troll in before they.
Yeah, no, there's no more.
One last troll. So, for all of these reasons, I had this as a 1 enjoyable because it was a it was fucking shitty.
Holy
just
shit.
a complete waste of my time. And it was a lot of times. It was like 2.5 hours long.
It was
I
long.
had to watch this in like 4 shifts, and each one was worse than the last.
Is this the worst rating you've ever given for enjoyability?
No, I gave Tank Girl a 10 and a 1. It's not. It's better than Tank Girl.
Wow.
But that's not saying much.
I'm glad you own it though.
Yeah.
And the first one.
That was an accident. What do you think of this beer though?
Oh, crushable. As an 8% IPA, the Citra hops in this are really, really clean. I did not get a really bitter aftertaste. It was really, really easy for me to drink. I would definitely go back and try some more from Casey, BC, for sure. I really, really enjoyed it.
Well, good, man. I obviously did not feel as strongly about it as you did, although I will say it does not taste like a double IPA. Like, this to me tastes very similar to a lot of just IPAs. Now, I want to be clear. It's not smooth the way that the Bud Light was smooth 2 weeks ago, but like it's smooth in the sense that I'm not getting that double IPA. It's not fucking, slapping me in the mouth with whatever. I was coming to this thing fully being like, this is going to be a fucking nightmare, and it wasn't a nightmare. It's a double IPA that tastes like an IPA. Yeah, so really, I kind of feel like I got away with one here because I was expecting to have a rough go, and that I deserved it after the beer from 2 weeks ago. But this wasn't that bad.
I love that you said it's not as smooth as a Bud Light, but you failed to mention that it has taste comparatively, right? Like, that's the big difference.
But wait,
right?
hang on though. Like, would you rather have bad taste or no taste?
It's not bad taste.
To me, it is.
No, it's delicious.
No, but to me, it is bad taste. Whereas Bud Light, comparatively, it may taste like water, but I would rather have no taste than bad taste.
I see. So you're still developing your IPA palate. It's coming.
It's been 4 years, man.
It's gonna get here. One day it's gonna happen. I believe in you.
All of a sudden, it'll be like the Wizard of Oz. Everything will be in color, and I'll be like, "Oh, it's a hop bomb in my mouth." I'll start saying shit like that. The fuck out of here!
Oh my God, I'll love that day.
Oh
That'll
my
be
God.
the day of days.
Never gonna happen. But yes, you know what? Glad we tried this. It's a brewery I haven't tried before. If they make any non-IPA stuff, I'll check them out for sure. But yeah, man, this is gonna bring us to the end of our 4th season.
It's weird that you're saying that. I can't believe we're here already.
Went fast this year, I feel. We didn't have the thing where we took the break in January. I don't know if that's why, but like every 2 weeks maybe, because we had some life changes and stuff. But
it's been busy. It's been a busy
year. It's been busy, but you know what? A lot of fun still. Some real highlights when I think back, like some good moments of a few like episodes where I really had a great time and like saw something I'd never seen before. And you know, we're gonna keep that going next year, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to a season 5. Do we have some stuff I think already lined up, but we got a lot of room on the docket. Yeah.
We've got some audience requests already that we're gonna have to like push because of like time, but we're gonna get to them, I promise. So we got a couple of nice ones coming up, and of course we'll have our usual assortment of like best of clips and unanswered questions and fucking whatever. So stay with us on Twitter and Instagram at the BMB Podcast.
Send us emails, thebmbpodcast@gmail.com. We have a few requests, but are always open for some more. Always looking for feedback, too. Also, remember to make sure you like and subscribe on all of the podcast places you get. Apple, Spotify.
Pocket Casts. We're on most of the major providers.
Podbean.
Yeah, man. Give us a review and a fucking rating. Even if it's only a 2-star rating, it still helps spread the word.
Thanks, Mom. That was a
We
bit
are
of a dick
juvenile.
move.
That was not your mother.
Yeah,
There's
it was.
no
I
way.
talked to her later.
Was she embarrassed because I mentioned that she wanted to Sting in the Dune episode? I don't know.
She was all down for that one. No,
My mom was too. It's very unsettling. I don't know. No, but we're gonna take a couple months off. We'll be back in September. We hope you'll join us for all of the wonders of season 5. But until then, I'm Cooper.
And I'm Nolan.
And we'll see you next season on Bad Movies and Beer.
Keep hoping your dad shows up.
Oh, God. Heartfelt way to end. Revenge is coming.